passports and partnerships, let's explore Southwest Nova Scotia to the world and more. Student voices, bright and true, a global journey just for you.
Welcome back to another episode of Passports and Partnerships, where we're sharing international student stories from the Tri-Counties. Eric, welcome.
Hello, Sean. Thanks for the inviting for the interview. Hello, everyone. My name is Eric. I'm from Kazakhstan. I'm 17 years old, and I'm the international student here in Tri-County.
Eric, I am so excited that you agreed to share your story here today. And I was really excited to see around this time last year when applications were coming through, and I'm like, oh my heavens, we've got students from Kazakhstan. we hadn't had students from Kazakhstan before, and we've got a few this year. So we're really excited. When you arrived in Halifax, what was your first impression of Canada?
Oh, I remember this day like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
When I first arrived in Halifax, it was sunny. It was really green trees. It was a great coastline.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the climate. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the employees from the airport. They were so open.
Yeah.
They were so kind and so friendly to me.
We have a big team of people that go for arrivals to make sure that when our students come off the planes, they feel welcome right from the start, right? It's a good first impression and helps make you feel comfortable, I assume, coming to a new country. Had you ever tried something like this before?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. How did you pick Canada?
As I said, I was really interested to find a program that shares students around the world.
Yep.
I always was interested from Canada.
Yeah.
I really like this country.
Eric, what are some of the things you like about Barrington? You're in the Barrington area, right?
Barrington.
Yeah.
I never seen this place like this before. But at first I was shocked because how this place have this beautiful climate, the beautiful people. I would say the good architecture in the same place. And I was impressed that how this community works together.
Thanks for sharing that. There's no question. In smaller communities, we really work together to help each other. And being in a smaller community, kind of, you know a lot of people, right?
Yes.
Your host family. Tell me, how has your experience been in your home?
My experience was really great. And I got sent to the beautiful host family to the really kind people that enjoys hosting and that always welcome to share Canadian experience to international students.
Yeah. So when you think of that Canadian experience, sometimes it's food, sometimes it's music, or just cultural events and how holidays are different in different countries. Are there certain foods that you've tried being in the Barrington area that are like different for you? Some you like, some maybe not as much?
I would say the most interesting food I tried, it was the apple pie with the deer meat.
Apple pie with deer meat?
With deer meat.
Deer meat was in the apple pie?
Deer meat was in the apple pie.
Wow, that's new. How was it?
It was really good. I never tried this combination of food before, but
Yeah. So do you
I
like
enjoyed it.
Do you like deer?
Yes,
Yeah.
I found it really tasty, and I would say it's kind of nutritious.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be, right? Apple pie mixed with deer meat. Yeah, fantastic. Are there any foods or recipes that you've been able to share from home for your host family that you've tried to help them make?
We have a lot of dishes,
Yeah.
and I would say we have it for every occasion and every kinds of the hardness to make.
Right.
I would say the most famous dish that we have, it has the horse meat inside,
Right.
and it mixed with the dove boiled in the water.
Right. Gotcha. So it's a bit different here, right? So
It is.
yeah, absolutely. What are some of those other cultural similarities or differences between Kazakh and Canadian culture? Are there any that were surprising for you?
I wouldn't say that we have such a big gap between our societies, but I would say they're pretty close. And I didn't experience the great shock from the people.
Right.
It's pretty similar that we used to see.
Yeah. A lot of Canadians that might be watching this podcast may not know much about Kazakhstan. What can you share about maybe the size of the country, where it's located, the languages that people typically speak?
I absolutely love this question, and I always ready to share it with our followers.
Yes.
Kazakhstan is the ninth most largest country in the world. It also the biggest landlocked country in the world.
The biggest landlocked one, okay.
We speak Kazakh language, which has roots from Turkic history.
Right.
So I would say we can understand somewhat the Turkish people.
Right.
Then about our culture, our people used to be nomadic, means they didn't live in one place. They always changed their home, depends on the season,
Right.
to support their animals, and to just be like nomads.
Yeah. And certainly in our history in Canadian culture, we've had a number of nomadic peoples have similar livelihoods, right? Because of the changing of the seasons, 4 seasons. So it's to make sure that we're able to gather the food and hunt. How do you compare the climate between here and that of your home country?
We have a big gap between temperatures.
Right.
I would say in most of the regions, we have 4 seasons.
Right.
For example, in our capital, the temperatures may go from -40 all the way up to +40.
-40, yeah. The temperature that you've experienced in Barrington area, is that similar to what you've been used to at home in your hometown?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I found some similarities in the climate, but I would say the Barrington has a really good winds.
Yeah, definitely in Nova Scotia, we have a lot of wind, don't we?
I also noticed that the sun is much more brighter than we used to see because we have the little foggy
Right.
in the city. So
Yeah.
I found it really interesting.
Yeah. Would you say we have as many sunny days, even though it might be foggier in your home country?
I would say we have more sunny days, but
Good.
here is also good.
Yeah, okay. Talk to me about school. How is it similar or different, your experience at Barrington High versus your school back home?
Barrington High was one of the best places I've ever been to
Really?
because it's really friendly, it's welcoming,
Yeah.
the teachers are always ready to help. The atmosphere itself is really pleasant, and they're always welcome to meet new people.
Yeah. Did you know over 20 years ago I taught there for a couple of years, and I was also the vice principal for a couple of years? And
I heard this from someone.
yes, and at that time it certainly had that same culture, a really welcoming community, and what I miss. Have you been able to experience any different games or hobbies or things having been in Canada?
Canada is really famous with hockey.
Yes.
And back in Barrington, we went to arena to sell a couple games, and I found it really interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense game, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
every team supports like really strong and hard.
Yeah. How do you find the fans cheering at a hockey game? That's a bit of a culture in itself, isn't it?
Yes, I always feel the team spirit inside of those guys,
Yes.
and they're really exciting for the team
Yeah.
of the winning.
Yeah. It's a very physical sport too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one thing that a lot of people are surprised when they see it in a live arena happening, how physical the game can be. Yeah. What grade are you in at Barrington?
I'm in grade 11.
Grade 11. Yeah. So what are your plans after this year? Do you return back to Kazakhstan? Do you finish high school? Like what sort of plans do typical Kazakh students have through high school?
I actually returning here in this program to the 12th grade.
You are?
Yes.
I know.
But in Kazakhstan, we have only 11 grades to study.
Yeah.
And after that, you have a choice, either go to college or university.
Right. You're coming back to Barrington to study for grade 12. After you graduate high school in Nova Scotia, what are your plans after that?
I'm planning to return to Kazakhstan to find a good university. I already found a couple options.
Right.
And I also need to pass a national exam, which can give you opportunity to win the grant. Which grant is it's full scholarship.
A full scholarship?
Tuition.
Wow. Are you already thinking about a career field or a plan of study? Or
Yes, I have a lot of plans. So then
okay. And you want to share, or we're going to keep that secret?
we're going to keep the secret.
Okay. Eric, there's people watching right now that will be from your school, likely some of the parents from Barrington. Are there Anything you want to share for the Barrington community, just in the way they welcomed you in the community and the school?
I remember how I first came to this community,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed like how people were open and welcoming to me.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. As well, it's possible that people might look at this video from other countries. Remember when you were deciding on a place to study?
Yeah.
There could be some students and parents wondering, where is Canada? Where would Barrington be? What advice would you share to them if they're thinking about studying abroad and considering Nova Scotia?
I would say you have to think a lot.
Yeah.
And as soon as you make the good decision, it's going to give you the great rewards after.
When you think about your lifestyle back home versus your lifestyle here, how do you think you've grown from this experience so far?
I've been growing a lot.
Yep.
I learned a lot of new things.
Right.
Especially, I progressed a lot in the English language.
You sure have. There's no question. In my mind, it takes a lot of courage and bravery to say, okay, I'm in high school and I'm going to go to another country and study. You've grown both in your English language. You've been able to share some of your culture with your family and your school community. And likewise, you've been able to learn a lot from the Canadian culture in Nova Scotia and in the Barrington area. Have you made some friends, Canadian friends in classes or international friends from other countries?
I made either of friends. I made both international and both Canadian friends. I would say that was really interesting because we share a lot in our classes.
Yeah.
We spend the time in our lunchtime.
Absolutely.
And some of them have the free with me.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. So in Kazakhstan, do you have any free periods or study periods at all or no?
No, we don't.
Being in Barrington, you are in what is proclaimed to be the lobster capital of the world. Have you tried seafood or lobster?
I actually never tried seafood before I came to Canada.
Right. Well, you're talking around Kazakhstan being a landlocked country.
Yes,
so probably
we don't
not
have the
readily
good seafood.
Yeah.
It's it's a big con.
Yeah.
But in Canada, especially in Barrington, I tried the freshest seafood, including the local lobster
Yeah.
and a lot of kinds of the fish.
Yeah. Is there a certain seafood that really was your favorite?
I really enjoyed the swordfish.
It's the swordfish, yeah? Nice. That's awesome. There's no question. In Nova Scotia, you can, depending on where you're placed, you can have some of those freshest, tastiest seafood anywhere. So I'm glad you were able to try some of that. Have you been to beaches or lighthouses, things like that in your area?
Yes, I've been in one of Cape Island beaches.
Yeah.
And it had the whitest sand I ever seen.
Yeah.
With the blue water.
Yeah.
It made a really good contrast.
And the water was really warm, wasn't it?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, they're beautiful beaches, but we do have cold water, don't we?
Yes.
It's chilly water. Eric, is there anything you want to share with anyone around your experience to this point?
I would say my experience was really rich. I was doing a lot of things.
Right.
There's a lot of activities in Barrington.
Yeah, there are. If you're coming from a big city and coming to a smaller area in Nova Scotia, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's definitely a good thing
How so?
because you get a detox from the city. Because there is no quiet second in the big city.
Right.
But here, my allergy is gone. I started sleeping good, and I started breathing the fresh air just from the ocean.
Wow, that's incredible. There's no question. I've lived in different parts of Canada, but when I come home to Yarmouth and Nova Scotia, the smell of the salt air, it's very soothing and refreshing. Yeah. Eric, I thank you for sharing your story. I'm so happy that you chose Nova Scotia. I'm happy that I've got to meet you, and I'm glad that we've got another year with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for the followers that support this podcast.
Lovely. Eric, great job, man.
Thank you.
Well.